Hey everybody, it is your favorite heretic again with a new model, quote, new, old. This particular model is known as the Master of Possession. Now, for the Master of Possession, there's only one actual way to find him, and that is through the Shadow Spear. The Shadow Spear box, which was always start of 8th edition. So, to find one of these is going to be nearly impossible to do. However, luckily I was able to actually get this through WARPCRATE, which, especially for $25 every 2 weeks, or every month at least, for a model every 2 weeks, get one of these. Very, very nice to do. So, what the Master Possession is, he falls under the Chaos Space Marines. In particular, you can actually use him in any of your legions, and he can also fall under any of the appropriate Chaos Gods, Slaanesh, Tzeentch, and Nurgle. The reason why I don't say Khorne is because he is a Psyker, and you know how much Khorne loves Psykers. Gotta love it. So, what does the Master Possession do? Well, at least from what I actually had to look this up through a Warhammerpedia or Wahapedia, because I could not find his rule set at all, and especially in the recent books, I cannot find it, and I haven't really been able to find any of the 9th edition books recently, so this is what I have. Master Possession. He has a 6-inch movement, 3 weapon skill, 3 ballistic skill, 4 strength, 4 toughness, 4 wounds, can do 3 attacks. He has a leadership of 9 with an armor save of 3+, and he's on a 40 mil base, which is basically one of these simple ones. He is a single model armed with a force staff, bolt pistol, frag grenade, and crack grenades. His bolt pistol does the normal thing, 12-inch range, with 1 shot, strength 4, 0 AP, 1 damage each. The force staff is his melee weapon, which is a +3 strength to him, so it'll be 7, -1 armor, and does D3 damage. And the frag and cracks do the same thing. Frag grenade, 6 inches with D6 grenade shots, strength 3, 0 AP, 1 damage, and has the blast template, which, if I'm remembering correctly, for the newest edition, if they are a unit of 10 models or more is affected by a weapon with blast, I think it's like minimum 3 or minimum 6 shots. I can't remember if it's hits or for the amount of shots you can make. So, and then crack grenades, 6 inches, grenade 1, strength 6, -1 armor, D3 damage. He comes with the Death to the False Emperor, the Hateful Assault, and Malicious Volleys rules. The Death to the False Emperor is basically any time that a unit with this ability rolls a 6 or higher in the fight phase. If that enemy was a Imperium unit, you make an additional attack, and those extra attacks cannot generate their own. Hateful Assault is basically their version of a charge. If this unit makes a charge move and it is charged or performs a heroic intervention, add 1 to the attack characteristics of the model in this unit until the end of the turn. So basically, it's additional attacks if he fights Imperium units on a 6-up. And then Malicious Volleys basically is the new rapid fire weapon for them. Instead of following the rule for rapid fire, yak yak yak, rapid fire makes double the number of attacks if it falls under the appropriate rapid fire rule, which is you're either within half the rapid fire range, is a infantry and every model has remained stationary, or the firing model is a Terminator, Biker, or Hellbrute. And basically, it is any bolt weapon instead of the items getting bolts. So basically, from what this is, it's considered his pistol can do 2 shots if they're within 6 inches. Because bolt, and that's for Imperium and Chaos, thanks to these 3 abilities. He is a Daemonkin, so he has his 5-up invuln, and he has a special ability called Rite of Possession. Psykers suffer perils of the warp on any psychic test roll of a double that is made for them instead of just double 1 or double 6 while they're within 12 inches of him. So this is good for any type of anti-psyker effect. And then as a psyker, he can manifest up to 2 psychic powers during the friendly phase and deny 1 during the enemy phase. He also knows Smite and then 2 psychic powers from the Malefic Discipline. His faction keywords are as follows. He is known as the Faction of Chaos. He can obtain any mark of Chaos. He is a Heretical Astares, and he can be any Legion character. His keywords will be a character, infantry, psyker, as well as the named Master of Possession. Now, for this one in particular, it's a pretty good thing. Officially, from his current, from at least the current point system, he costs about 95 points or 5 power, depending on what type of game style you do. Power is, like, for those that don't already know, power is useful if you want to make quick games. Points are good if you want a more strategic type games as well. So, in particular for this model, I wanted to do a little bit of an experimentation on my painting style. So what I did is I tried to do more of a focused, like a glow effect. For example, attempting to try to make the flames actually glow and emit on his armor, which, as you can easily see from my let alone from my crappy camera, it didn't turn out as well as I wanted. But I at least had some minor effects for the example. As you can easily see here, you can see somewhat of a glow on his shoulder pad, just strictly facing toward the fire itself, as well as the skulls flaming on the warped fire above him, with a minor, especially another thing for his face, a minor little bit of light. Sadly, even if you did look at the model itself, I don't really like the way it turned out personally. Oh, and I also did same thing for the eyes on his knee pad, as well as a final effect for his back. But like I was saying, I personally do not enjoy the way it turned out. I kind of wish it was a bit more of a gloss. I'm probably missing like a varnish or something. I'm not exactly sure. This was at least my attempt at trying to make him the way it is. I just kind of wish it turned out a bit better. But like I said, I painted him. This is what he turns out to be, and this is what I'm gonna have to deal with. So now that I've shown off the model itself, I'm gonna go ahead and show off all the paints I used for this. So we'll go ahead and start off simple with my base coats. Simply enough, I stick to the leather brown for any of the straps, skeleton bones for all the bones and skulls that are all over him, as you can easily see. I then used Mephiston red for the armor, plate metal for his metal, and then finally the necromancer cloak for any of the shaded areas, such as his shoulder pads. For shade, I try to keep it somewhat simple. Basically, after for the flames, I stuck with a nice Dragonolf nightshade after I painted them completely white in order to try to get more of a color shade than anything, and then I doused it all down with a nice dark tone from Army Painter. And if you guys are sticking with the Games Workshop idea, that would be the Nun Oil, which just dip it in Nun Oil, shake it off, it works. Alright, and then for highlights, I kept it relatively simple. I did a uniform gray just to touch up his shoulder pads, and then I focused more on the flames for this model. I started with a Aldorf Guard Blue to start off as the base color, and then I went up toward a Frost Shadow. I then moved up to Void Shield Blue in order to give it a better highlight, and then to try to get the final glow effect, I went with a matte white. Like I said earlier, I kind of don't like it because I felt like I messed up on it, but some success, some failure. Without experimentation, it wouldn't be much. Alrighty. Like I said before, while I was working on this, I actually managed to get one of my WARPCRATE minis in the mail. So, as promised, I decided to wait till I actually made the video before I open it up. So let's go ahead and crack her open. See what fun little minions we get. Alright, and at least for the couple I've received before, they're all relatively the same. Basically nice little packaging. Models are nicely wrapped up, and you also get yourself a nice little trade-in program for the old minis that you have, which is basically what most of this is, as well as a nice little sticker from warpminis.com. Alright, there actually seems to be a variety of models right here. Let's take a look at what they are. Oh my. Alright, careful with these ones. Ooh, these look like Chaos Marines. Let's take a look. Another X-Men. Oh no, these aren't Chaos Marines, these are possessed. Okay, so apologies for the quick transition. Apparently, these guys appear to be a complete set of unpainted. These may be possessed, actually. Only reason why I say that is because, at least for these two especially, they are definitely possessed. But I'm definitely going to have to take a look at this. Yeah, these four look like possessed. This one just looks like a Chaos Marine with a power... this one looks like just a Chaos Marine with a Slashing Talon. And then we have a Power Fist. And then we have a Power Maul. But that's what each one appears to look like. I am like I said, you'd be amazed at what you get from WARPCRATE. Now I get more models to work on. I just might make them all a whole squad of possessed. Maybe I'll separate these three here, make them to their own thing. I'll have to double check my ruling and stuff and then figure out how exactly I want to paint them. But in all actuality, I just might... yeah, these look like regular Space Marines than anything. And then these two are just pure possessed, so they might have just got mixed in. Either way, I'm definitely going to be able to take some time. I might actually stick with a corn mode for these guys, just because I can. But I'm definitely loving their bases, especially. Look at this. Like I said, someone probably traded all this in and they just didn't want to finish it and got rid of it, which basically is kind of my issue personally, but that's what I'm doing the streams for, so I can actually get them all nice and painted and look right. Who knows, we'll figure out how I want to do it. Either way, I do thank y'all for your time. There we are. I do thank y'all very much for at least coming by and watching, seeing what I did. And then, like I said, here is my WARPCRATE thing. I don't know if I'm going to bother painting them on my next stream or if I'm going to move over to my Beastmen. Still trying to figure out on that bit. But I do thank y'all for joining me on this. I hope to see y'all again next time.